Hello everyone, my name is Singdeo Adefabah Chavez. I am a PhD student in the Health Education Health Promotion program here in the Department of Health Science. Andrea Hayes is an undergraduate in our Public Health program and is a shining light in our department. She is part of Eta Sigma Gamma, a National Health Honorary, where she is the committee chair of our after-school program at Holt Elementary. She has been an immense help providing outreach to our Spanish-speaking members of our community. She is also involved in ALSPALS and the CSL with Green Bama. She's an amazing person whose love for life and passion to make the world a better place is extremely infectious. I'm excited and proud to introduce Andrea to the stage.
Hey everyone, so I'm Andrea Hayes and I'm a junior at the University of Alabama studying public health and health analytics, and I'm also in the Blunt Scholars Program. And I'm here today to talk to you about how local agriculture makes a more healthy and equitable environment for all people. Or more simply put, local agriculture feeds the earth and its people. But before I go on and on about how much I think local agriculture will solve so many problems, I want to take a moment to compare Tide Talk 16 to when I was 16. And without a doubt, as you can see, Tide Talk 16 is much cooler than I was then and could ever aspire to be. But one thing I do think that I have up on Tide Talk 16 is this year I adopted my dog Winston, and he is the best dog in the entire So how did this passion for local agriculture form? This past summer, I interned at Camp McDowell, and as part of my duties there, I had to work at the Camp McDowell Farm School. And here, I learned how to milk goats, and I got up at 5:30 in the morning to pick really delicious blueberries. And it's where I learned about local and sustainable agriculture and how it can solve so many problems that our current industrialized system of big agriculture causes. So my talk is going to be, or it's organized in two main parts. One, what's wrong with big agriculture? And I break it down into two groups. Big agriculture causes massive environmental damage, and it causes a host of social equity problems. And in the second part of my talk, I'm going to talk about the solution to it, which is local agriculture. So, how did we get here, to this current system of agriculture that we have? And in the first half of the 20th century, two German scientists, Fritz Haber and Karl Bosch, discovered how to synthetically fix nitrogen into fertilizer. And this increased produce yields, and people were claiming it to be the end of world hunger. It's what allows these beautiful pictures to happen. But there's severe negative impacts from excessive use of nitrogen fertilizer in our agricultural practices. Mainly, it disrupts the nitrogen cycle. And one big impact that this has is it completely disrupts multiple microecosystems present in our soil. So with the amount of fertilizer we use today, we are producing twice as much reactive nitrogen that naturally occurs in the world. And this increases the pH and the salinity of soil. Now this is a huge issue because soil serves as a very large carbon sink. And as we damage the soil through our agriculture practices, more carbon is present in the atmosphere. And why is this a problem? It's a problem because high amounts of carbon in the atmosphere leads to carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. And this greenhouse gas leads to global warming and adverse climate change. Another reason this is so bad is because the excessive amount of nitrogen fertilizer that we use causes dead zones throughout the oceans. This one is in the Gulf of Mexico at the mouth of the Mississippi River. So when fertilizer is used by big agriculture, only 10% is actually utilized by the crops. 25 to 50% of that nitrogen fertilizer immediately goes into rivers and streams and groundwater. And so when the summer and spring rains come, it washes it down the rivers and the streams into the ocean. And this causes massive algae blooms. and it sucks all the oxygen out of the water, making it inhabitable for any type of aquatic life, from fishes to plants. Now this completely decimates ocean ecosystems, coastal ecosystems, and human economic ecosystems. And what I mean about human economic ecosystems is the fish market. It is highly disrupted because thousands of fish die as a result of these dead zones. This dead zone is 5,280 square miles. Yet another way that our agricultural practices contribute to environmental damage is through the formation of nitrous oxide. So I previously mentioned that we have twice as much reactive nitrogen in the atmosphere as we previously did before big agriculture. And it leads to 79% of nitrous oxide. And this is a powerful and potent greenhouse gas, 300 times as powerful as carbon dioxide. This is one of the main contributors to global warming. Another issue with our agriculture, big agriculture, is it is one of the top 3 threats to biodiversity present in the world. This means our ecosystems aren't as robust, and when natural disasters happen, they can't bounce back. And the earth loses its natural systems that regulate climate, that regulate weather, that regulate how things are produced. Another issue is how we produce our meat. So livestock outnumbers human population worldwide. Specifically in the United States, if we would take the food that we produce to feed our animals and repurpose it for feeding people, we could feed 800 million people per year. 30% of all cropland is used not to feed people, but to feed animals. This is just the beginning of many social equity problems that big agriculture causes. These are pictures from North Carolina farms. The Episcopal Farm Worker Ministry provides aid to around 3,500 farm workers at any time. That toilet on the left is a hole in the ground. There's no running water, there's no energy. They've simply put a seat on top to make it appear more domestic. Since the 1980s, 7 cases have gone to the Supreme Court, and more than 1,000 people have been freed from modern bondage. The conditions these people are experiencing are equivalent to modern-day slavery. And this is not happening in other countries, it's also happening in our country, right in North Carolina. Now, this may seem scary and it may seem like these problems can't be solved, but the solution is right here and in front of us, and it's very attainable. And that solution is local agriculture. So how does local agriculture solve the host of problems that big agriculture causes? First of all, it upholds ecosystems. At Camp McDowell, no fertilizers, no pesticides are used in their farming. This picture over here, they planted flowers beside their crops because they have natural pesticide repellent characteristics. At camp, they managed to feed hundreds of people throughout the summer without any pesticides. Big agriculture tells us, oh, we have to use pesticide because without it, pests are going to eat up all of our food. But that's because they utilize monoculture and they don't have multiple crops that they rotate throughout the seasons. Camp also rotates the animals. So pigs are really destructive. They will dig up the ground and tear it up and make it a complete mud pit. So you have to rotate it to keep it safe and keep it from becoming degraded. And more importantly than this, agriculture, local agriculture, provides healthier, tastier, more affordable food. So in Alabama, we have a very high rate of food insecurity. Every county within Alabama has at least one food desert. Here within Tuscaloosa, it's in Alberta City, which is right around Alpha and the Lofts, and in Holt, which is right off of Jack Warner Parkway. Wholesale produce is much less expensive than produce you buy in grocery stores. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I went to our local farmer's market at the River Market, and I got about 10 peaches for $5. It would be much more expensive in Target or Publix or Walmart. I also bought a box of cherry tomatoes, and at Walmart, the same organic tomatoes produced in big agriculture would cost $4.13 plus tax. That's $1.13 less expensive. So how can you get plugged in? How can you be part of this solution? There's two main ways. One, buy local. And here at the university, that's actually really easy to do. Homegrown Alabama is a farmer's market that occurs right across the road from Russell at Canterbury Church. And for us poor, broke college students, you can use Bama Cash. So it feels like you're not even using real money. It really does. You just swipe it. And at the River Market, on Saturdays, they also have a farmer's market with local farms that come. That's where I got those really inexpensive peaches, which were so delicious, and really inexpensive cherry tomatoes. Next, participate in local agriculture programs. Again, it's really easy for us to do this here at the University of Alabama. The Druid City Gardening Project goes to local schools and builds them community gardens. It's worked into their science and math education programs. That produce is then taken and sold at fresh markets. The Center for Service and Leadership has a garden at Arboretum. They will take you there, free of charge, Monday and Wednesday, and all the produce that is made there goes directly to the West Alabama Food Bank to help alleviate food insecurity in Alabama. A third way is by participating in local farm co-ops. This is where you give farmers so much money a month and they will give you so much produce. But it's also an agreement that if some type of natural phenomenon happens, or if there's a lot of rain, or some of their crops rot, they're still going to take that money. And this supports them and allows them to face the competition that big agriculture presents. Now, as humans, we think we can take and take and take from the environment, and that we are immune from the forces of nature. But that's not true, and we are going to start to see consequences unless we start utilizing local agriculture. And it's very easy to do. So I ask you to join with me in participating in local agriculture and helping not only your community, but the whole world.